Beyond the Podium is sponsored by MD Anderson Cancer Center.
Hello, I'm Anne-Marie Tiernan, and you're watching Beyond the Podium. Right now, the 2026 Olympic Games continue in Milan and Cortina. Right now, there are 2,900 athletes competing for the ultimate prize, an Olympic gold. The beautiful, majestic, and captivating mountains in Cortina is where one of the more famous faces of these Winter Games will compete, and she wants to add to her Olympic medal haul. We're talking about Mikaela Shiffrin, and Matt Renew has been covering her career since the very first. Didn't your first interview was she was 15 years old?
15, and then we really started covering Mikaela when she was 17, before the Olympics in Sochi. And you know, you look at that span of time, her career, you know, the World Cup wins, you look at the overall titles, the Olympic medals she's won, and it is pure dominance. But she's struggled as well over the years. She's trying to come back from an injury that left her with a puncture wound and, for a short time, a fear of skiing fast.
Near Mikaela Way in Avon, Colorado, Mikaela Shiffrin is rebuilding a comeback.
Gym time, strength and conditioning portion of the season.
On her terms.
Every year we're kind of reinventing the wheel a little bit.
At 30, Shiffrin has won more Alpine World Cup ski races than any male or female in history, more than 100 and counting.
106!
She has 2 Olympic gold medals, 6 World Championship golds, and while still racing, has been inducted into the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame.
It's certainly a testament to the work that has been done and the journey I've had and my whole team and family and close friends and biggest supporters.
Shiffrin is the GOAT.
Be the best ever.
You know, there was some really great high highs.
On a journey that's been anything but easy.
And some really low lows.
At the Olympics in Beijing, Shiffrin raced in 6 events. She didn't medal in any of them. Then came Killington.
Everybody said it was going to happen in Killington.
Racing toward her 100th World Cup win.
The more people said that, the more I felt like, I think that's too easy. Like, I don't think the universe is gonna let this go that way.
Mikaela hit a gate, crashed, and felt a stabbing pain in her midsection, a rare injury from being punctured in the fall. Shiffrin's recovery would be difficult, healing her body.
I had those like scary PTSD flashes of crashing.
And her mind.
Every time I get in the start gate, whether it's a race or training, I'll have these like flashes, or it's almost like a memory.
This had been more than just a crash, something different, something unlucky, a 1 in a million injury.
And they're called intrusive thoughts, and it's a symptom of, or a signal of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Getting that moment out of her head would take time.
Me proving to myself that more often than not, skiing high-speed GS doesn't end in a puncture wound.
And that time has come. Only 3 months after that Killington crash, Shiffrin won her 100th race.
Untouchable, unreachable, unrepeatable.
An achievement she thinks would have surprised even her late father.
I don't think he would have ever thought that I'd get to 100. I don't even know what he'd say. He'd probably be like, it's time to be done. But I'm not done yet.
Not even close to being done. In front of her home crowd, Shiffrin won her 104th World Cup at Copper Mountain. Once again, flying down mountains in a sport she loves.
The trick that we're all trying to work on is how to dive into that speed and sort of like go headfirst into the vortex.
All leading Shiffrin to her 4th Olympic Games in Italy, racing this time on familiar snow.
Understanding the lay of the land, knowing approximately where your hotel or your house or lodging is going to be.
And back in a familiar place, atop podiums and racing fast at the Olympics, on her terms.
Take a look inward and say like, wow, this is real, this happened, this is now a written part of history. That's a pretty special moment.
So great to see Michaela racing fast again. She's in 3 events at these Olympics, team combined slalom and giant slalom, all of them great for her. Excited to see Michaela at the Olympics again.
Indeed. All right, Matt, thank you.
You're welcome.
If you're a fan of Jessie Diggins, you no doubt have noticed the glitter that's on her cheeks. She says it's a race day tradition that dates back to one of her very first World Cup races. That's when she said she would get super nervous, she started wearing glitter on her face. It was a simple reminder to herself of why she started racing in the first place. So now her teammates, coaches, her mom, her sister, even her husband will glitter up on race day. Some races even have glitter bars set up so fans can go get some sparkle for race day as well. From the snow to the ice, there is a 21-year-old phenom we want to make sure you know all about. He is impressive, and Jake Wittenberg from Seattle has his story.
Anne-Marie, a name we need to know, Jordan Stolz. He is a phenom on the ice, and he could become only the 2nd American in history to win 3 or more gold medals in a single Winter Games.
Slicing through the competition in 2025, Jordan Stolz is now ready to shine in Milan. Training in his home state of Wisconsin, the 21-year-old is at peak form ahead of his biggest event to date, and a sport with a thrill on every turn.
The speeds you achieve are, close to 40 miles per hour, and you're going through that turn, faster than, possibly a car could, or like a race car, right?
This is his 2nd Olympics. Stolz's debut at the Winter Games came in 2022, but he failed to medal in Beijing. Now he's sharpened his edge with new motivation and says his skating has evolved to a new level.
Well, I've gotten stronger in the last 4 years. I've gotten better at managing like jet lag and nutrition. Obviously in China that was difficult.
Since then, Stolz has taken the world by storm. Bouncing back after an injury-plagued season in 24, Stolz captured 4 gold medals at the 4 Continent Speed Skating Championships in November and set track records in both the 1,000 and 15-meter races. Not bad for a kid from Wisconsin who fell in love with the sport early on, learning to skate on his family's pond in Kewaskum. Today, he lends his inspiration to U.S. Olympic great Apollo Ono and his current coach, gold medal skater Shawnee Davis.
Apollo was like the main reason I got involved in skating. Started out in my pond in the backyard. Shawnee was more so like kind of an inspiration once I started getting older.
Today, motivation comes from the thrill of competition at the highest level.
Racing the clock, I know that sounds kind of lame, but when you spend hours of training in the summer, lifting weights and riding the bike, and you see your improvements against the other guys, that's really motivating.
And he's hoping it all pays off in Milan, where he's favored to win gold in all 3 major races. For the Kewaskum kid, shining bright on the world stage in his 2nd Olympics means striving for gold.
With my results the last 3 years, I'll have some good chances. If I have the best races I can do, perfect races, it should be gold medals. So we'll see if I can do that.
Chances are high that he will walk away with medals here at the Winter Games. He's the only skater in U.S. history to have 3 gold medals at the World Championships. Anne-Marie, that comes from his obsessiveness over the sport, learning to fashion his own blades himself, and just falling in love with the sport.
Yeah, a champion with a great backstory, too.
Absolutely. And he's learning on the pond in his backyard in that small town in Wisconsin with his family. You can't skate all year round, and when he got a chance to skate, he made sure he learned every single detail.
Yeah, made the most of it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much, Jake. From the athletes competing at the games to the women and men who make it all happen technically so that you have the very best viewing experience. Technology is a very big part of the Olympics, from security to how we're watching competition. Drew Pyburn, who is a regional head of technology and operations with Tegna, joins us now. And Drew, I have to say, I'm so glad that you're here helping me with my laptop and all kinds of things. And you've been helping the entire team. You've also been observing this massive operations. What impresses you the most?
Yeah, Anne-Marie, like the connectivity of the venues really impresses me the most. As we think about just Milan itself and the venues, how spread out they are, Cortina being 250 miles away from here, and I can say that firsthand as I've traveled over there, is that the connectivity between the two and real-time information that's traveling between it, that's just massive infrastructure they've brought in. And even more impressive is that they've committed to zero downtime, which that we may all think that that's not that big of a deal, but the redundancy that's involved in that is just incredible when it comes to the infrastructure of these games. And so that's really been impressive to me, and I think that that's something that's just new and innovative for these games.
Also new, these drones, giving these up-close looks at the athletes way up there on the mountains. I mean, it's mind-boggling to think how that's all pulled together.
Absolutely. And I got to see that firsthand actually in the downhill skiing event. Right. And the drones, they're coming in just inches away from some of these athletes. Wow. Watching the footage, I was watching downhill skiing, I was watching the luge, and I think they are just so close to those athletes. There's been zero complaints from athletes. However, there's been a little bit of complaints from some of the crowds, different things, some of the noise that they've heard. But I think the innovation that it's bringing to these games and the view that they're now showing our viewers is just incredible. It's new, and it really puts you in the seat of the athletes. We've never seen anything like it, where you can weave through the trees or go down the bobsled track with the athletes and get to experience what that's like. It's just incredible.
Well, and these pilots must be so highly trained to be able to do that.
They are, yeah, definitely highly trained pilots. They're not also kind of your run-of-the-mill drones. These are racing drones. They can go like 80 miles per hour, so wow. Very fast. And they can very maneuverable drones. They can stop on a dime. And there's been one report of a crash during a downhill skiing event, and that. All they had to do is just kind of get some debris off of the track, but otherwise there's been nothing else reported, and luckily no injuries, and the athletes haven't had any sort of complaints as well on it.
And the viewers get a shot unlike any they've ever had before.
Absolutely, yeah, It's something completely new and exciting for these games.
True, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
The men's hockey tournament is about to get underway. What countries might be playing for gold? A hockey insider joins us to size up the field next. You're watching Beyond the Podium.
Arms up, gotta go big.
1, 2, 3.
3 we jump.
You can't help yourself. Here at the games, people see the rings and grab a camera. Olympians, they have the skills to go big. Aging parents like us, start low. But we thought we had to at least try, right?
1, 2, 3.
3 we jump.
1, 2, 3.
I have no vertical.
Try again.
1, 2, 3.
I got 2 centimeters off the ground, baby.
Let's talk hockey. Hockey is always a tough ticket at the Olympics, whether you're wanting to watch the men or the women. And let's talk about the men. After the Four Nations tournament a year ago, boy, things are really heating up. Chris Egan from Seattle is here with the scouting report on the men's field.
Well, Anne-Marie, it all starts with this. NHL players, they are back. The best players in the world, they are here in Milan. This is going to be an exciting tournament for the men. Team USA, they're trying to do something that they haven't done in 46 years. A total of 148 NHL players are in Milan to represent their respective countries. Team Canada and Team USA are the projected favorites to reach the gold medal game, but the competition will be fierce.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Olympic Games. There's great teams and great players all over. So Canada's no different. We got a great group of guys, and looking to come together and do something special.
A tournament like this, the Olympics, it's obviously the biggest stage, the brightest lights, and being able to play best on best hockey, it's a lot comes with it, a lot of fun, they're going to be close games every game you play in. So it'll be fun. It'll be a battle from the start, and we're excited.
It's obviously great to have NHL players back in the tournament. Yeah, Canada, Sweden, Finland. I mean, the Czechs won the World Championships recently as well. So a number of teams that are coming in here, wanted to be the best and wanted to showcase that and come away with a gold. So you can't overlook anybody.
Team USA is trying to win its first gold medal since the Miracle on Ice in 1980. Getting the chance to represent the Stars and Stripes is very special to each and every one of these players.
It's unbelievable. It's such a good feeling. Last year with Four Nations was super fun, and obviously this is just that much bigger of a stage, and so to be able to be here and be with these guys and wear these colors, it's awesome.
Being able to represent the U.S. at this stage in the Olympics is one of the greatest honors that I've ever had. So I'm truly grateful to be here representing the red, white, and blue.
I just feel fortunate and blessed that I'm able to participate in the Olympics this year, and it's been a couple years since I've been able to put on the crest, so it's very special, and to be able to do it with this group is good too.
Crazy. I mean, it's just a dream come true really to kind of be in this situation now. And
Team USA is hoping the chemistry they created at the Four Nations tournament can carry on here in Milan. The U.S. returns 21 of 23 players from that tournament.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I mean, you got a little taste of it last year, and then you just add more into the mix, and no, it's going to be awesome. Good hockey, good skill, good intensity, good speed. So
you can look at pressure multiple ways. You can look at pressure being a bad thing, but I think pressure is a great thing. It's that means you care about what you're doing, you care about the end goal, and no, I wouldn't say that there's an extra pressure on us. It's a lot of the guys first time in the Olympics, so for us just to take it all in, and if there is any pressure, and I know everybody in that room enjoys it, embraces it, and plays their best hockey when they put a little pressure on themselves.
Team USA's roster is loaded. So far during the NHL, this roster has combined for 301 goals. There's only one team better here at these Olympic Games. That's Canada. They've got players that have combined for 383 goals during the NHL season so far.
Team USA, all led by their captain,
Austin Matthews. I mean, this is one of the best in the business. Plays for the Toronto Maple Leafs 3 times. He was the NHL scoring champ. He won the Hart Trophy back in 2021 and 2022. But he's just one of many great players here. I was with my friend Johnny from KUSA. We were in the mix zone. Canada comes out, and all of a sudden Johnny goes to me like, Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, gonna be a Hall of Famer. I mean,
Yes.
There are so many talented teams, and you can't overlook the Czechs, Sweden, Finland, Germany. They're all loaded with NHL players. It's gonna be fun.
yeah, as an all-star tournament for sure. Chris Egan, thank you.
They also do look at musicality, how well you relate to the music, how the character is that you're portraying, and they look at that whole thing as a whole.
When Beyond the Podium returns. Look who we have here, Brian Boitano, who won the men's gold in Calgary in 1988 in men's figure skating. It is so great to see you here at the games in Milan.
Great to be here. You know, I have my Italian citizenship, so we actually have a house that's not too far from here, so I spend a ton of time in Milan. It's like my backyard.
Well, you know, I know you're an expert in all things figure skating. How has the sport changed? What have you seen over the time from then to now?
Well, okay, I'll give you an example. So everything that I did, there are 6 different jumps, and everything that I did in the Olympics to win the Olympics, all my 6 jumps were triples. Ilya Malinin does them all as quadruples. So he does every single jump as a quadruple. So it's technically it's just gone so quickly. It took a while to get to the point where guys were doing so many quadruples, but he has definitely set the technical bar. It's higher than anyone in history has ever set it.
Let's talk, you're talking about the technical aspect of it. How much of a score is the storytelling, the creative, the artistry versus the technical?
That's a really good question, because in figure skating for many, many years we have been trying to equalize the component score, that's the artistic score, and it's divided into 3 different things like musicality just all these different things in the artistic category. And then the technical score, obviously. It has always been the technical score that separates everyone. And if you don't do the technical stuff, you're not going to win. They've been always talking about equalizing it a little bit more. We're not at the point where it is equal, and I think that they're still talking about pushing that a little bit more. That being said, the technical score is more important, but you are seeing people like Ilya working more on their component or artistic scores. But this usually comes after time. This is a maturity thing. He's 21 years old, and he did the right thing. He's been focusing on being a great technical skater, and then what happens is it's a lot easier to add on that artistic and component score after you have learned how to do all these quadruples in competition, because that's the secret. Doing the quadruples in competition is the hard thing. Learning them and doing them in practice, one thing. Doing them at this level, another thing.
I understand you have a podcast here.
With your friend.
Yes, Christine Brennan.
Christine Brennan, yes, journalist from USA Today. Yes, it's called Milan Magic, and you can find it wherever you find your podcasts, and we have it on a YouTube channel, USA Today Sports YouTube channel. So yeah, we've been doing well. I think we've had 5 episodes out, and we're going to do many, many more with all different subjects, focusing on behind the scenes, news breaking stuff, interviews with champions, or talking about fashion, talking about everything Olympics. So yeah, tune in.
It is great, and I think that you're filling a void that for people that really want to know more about the sport, you guys are there for them.
Yeah, and we're crossing over because she's a journalist and I'm a skater, and we've known each other for years, and that crossover is great, but how we have different perspectives of the Olympics is also really interesting.
Yeah. All right, Brian, thank you.
Thanks.
After the break, it might just be the best thing you'll see today. It was for one of our Tegna journalists. We'll talk about it next. Time for the best thing I saw today. Alicia Lewis joins us. She's from Minneapolis. This is her first Olympics. What did you see that really caught your eye?
This is hard because there's so many great things
every
single day. But what caught my eye this morning was this bride and groom. They got to the Duomo in front of the Piazza del Duomo early, and they took photos, videos. She was beautiful in her dress. He had his tuxedo on. The only thing that I thought was odd was that they were throwing birdseed up. I mean, it looked beautiful for the photos, but they weren't even flinching. I was like, ah!
Yeah. Could be a risk for the dress.
Yes, dry clean only.
Alicia, thanks so much. That's a wrap of this edition of Beyond the Podium. Stay with us though, because we have much, much more in the days to come. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne-Marie Tierney.
Beyond the Podium is sponsored by MD Anderson Cancer Center.